I'm Dr. Margaret Contra-Sutton of Sutton Dermatology and Aesthetics. Did you know that skin cancer is the most prevalent of all cancers and that over 1 million Americans will develop skin cancer every year? Develop a regular routine to inspect your body for any skin changes. If any growth, mole, sore, or skin discoloration appears suddenly or changes, please call Sutton Dermatology and Aesthetics to schedule a skin check.
This is Inspired Interviews, and I am your host, Katie Kinsella-Boles. Today's podcast is sponsored by Sutton Dermatology and Aesthetics. Today, we have Ava Thomas with us. Ava is president of Lee Enterprises West Region and president of Omaha World-Herald. She began her career at Lincoln Journal-Star in 1995 while attending University of Nebraska-Lincoln. Ava has served on numerous community and nonprofit boards, including the Lincoln Community Foundation, United Way, Heartland Big Brother Big Sisters, Tabitha Health, and Lincoln Chamber of Commerce. She co-chaired the City of Lincoln Economic Recovery Task Force and is a founder of Inspire Women's Leadership Program and Lincoln chapter of Hundreds of Women Who Care. Ava currently serves as a board member of Community Development Resources, RISE, UNL National Diversity Advisory Board, and Greater Omaha Chamber. Ava's favorite role is being Mimi to her 2 young granddaughters, and I can attest they are absolutely adorable.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you for being here, Ava.
Thank you.
So Ava and I have actually worked together a while, so this is even more special for me because I know Ava fairly well, and I consider myself very fortunate for that. And I remember first hearing about Inspire and kind of being like, is this an event? Is this a movement? What is this? And then after I went to my first event, I was mind blown. I remember feeling that I could be a better person and knowing that I could be. Like it was truly inspiring. And I've heard you tell the story about how it started, but for the benefit of our listeners, I would love to hear it again.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Katie. I think translation, you put up with me, and I'm really grateful you do. Inspire. So 9 years ago, a little over 9 years ago, I was at the Chamber of Commerce Board of Directors meeting in Lincoln. I say this to Wendy Birdsall a lot, which is, I promise I pay attention, but on this day I was maybe daydreaming a little bit. I was sitting across from the president and CEO of Bryan Health at the time, who was Kim Russell, amazing woman. Kim Moore was there, who was the president of St. Elizabeth at the time, Barbara Bartle, Lincoln Community Foundation. I mean, I could just keep on naming Christy Henricks from Tabitha. And I just thought we need a way to celebrate women's leadership. This is extraordinary. Women are leading in the Lincoln community, and I wanted to create, at that time, an event, which has turned into a movement, to celebrate them.
I think it does. And I love how we've went down a path of where Inspire can impact us. I'm wondering, when you attend or when you're part of an Inspire event, like how you feel in the background, since this is your baby, and how do you feel watching the women being celebrated? And
first, I love that you said it's my baby, because it is true. It's not a project. It truly is the thing that I have so much pride and joy around. And it is all about the feeling. That feeling that you get when you're in a room full of powerful, inspirational, impactful women, there's nothing like it. Watching them take the stage and deliver remarks, I think one of my favorites was, and you were there last year, Pam Dingman, who started her speech by saying the advice that she gave was, I didn't listen. And then she gave numerous examples of all the times that people told her she couldn't do or be what she wanted to be throughout her life, and that she didn't listen, and went on to conquer extraordinary things. So it is all about the feeling.
I remember that. I remember that one. And there's so many awesome quotes that I walk away with, and I just ponder.
So many more.
Yeah.
So many more. The late Joanne Martin one of my favorites, she said, open the door for others and hold the door open. Barb Bartle's one of them. Be bold, be brave, be benevolent. Frida Bonsall. I say the Dr. Helen Fagan one a lot, which is inspire others to create a community where people feel welcome and unique and valued. It's one of my favorite parts.
I think about how it must feel for everyone their first time going to one and hearing, and I think about like my daughter.
Yes.
I think about that a lot, and that's why I'm excited to be part of Inspire Girls coming up soon.
Yes.
And we'll talk about that. But I was looking in my emails to see the first time we actually chatted about a podcast, and it's a little anniversary because we did start talking about this about a year ago. And I'm thinking about, what is your goal? What do you want this podcast to do for listeners and the women in our community?
Right. I've had this idea for way longer than a year.
I imagine.
I gave it to you a year ago, which you made it happen, which is exactly why I gave it to you. I want to take that feeling that you get at the events and have it live. I'm a big podcast junkie, you know that. I don't watch a lot of TV, but I listen to a lot of audiobooks and podcasts and, both inspirational and then sort of just fun things too. And so I want to take the words and the feelings and the emotion around inspirational women and put it out there into the universe. I also hope that, frankly, that women will be vulnerable and not put on the perfect show of strength and inspiration and just be real too. So I'm hoping we get a bit of that. So make sure that happens.
I will. That's actually my favorite thing too, because I think a lot about Inspire Girls and what I thought when I was in that age frame, like age, 5th grade to 12th grade. And I thought when I saw like an older woman in a leadership position that they were just so buttoned up and everything was perfect. And they must have been this way their whole lives. And oh my gosh, that just isn't me. And so I think that what connects us, even, same ages, is hearing struggles and hearing, oh, I'm still working on that. Or, oh, I just realized that last week. And so I'll make sure that happens.
Yay.
For sure. So Inspire Girls is going to be on the 18th. And I was wondering, when you were in that age frame, junior high, high school, what do you think would have been the most beneficial for you to hear or learn about?
Right. I'm so proud that we launched Inspire Girls. And just to maybe take a little bit of background on that, we had Inspire, which was the celebrating women's leadership. And one of the things, I think it was Natalia, our president here at the Lincoln Journal-Star, brought forth was, we get in this room and we celebrate women and we empower other women to do extraordinary things. And really it all starts long before you're an adult woman. It starts in 3rd grade, 4th grade, 5th grade, even before that, just instilling in our own daughters the need to be part of a community that uplifts and empowers and celebrates other girls. And then you're creating women who support other women and empower other women and inspire others, not just women. So, that's where the entire idea for Inspire Girls came from. So shout out to Natalia for that. What would I want to hear? So I think I had a difficult childhood. It was very tumultuous. And I wish somebody would have told me that the things that happen in your childhood, they don't have to define you. They don't have to define your life. Because when you're a child, things are happening to you and around you. And you're a kid, so they're just sort of out of your control. And just to know that this isn't what your whole life is going to be. You can go on to do amazing, productive, be successful despite what's happening to you now. You belong here. You're different. You're unique, and that's okay. And those unique experiences and challenges in my childhood have helped me form strengths that serve me today.
Yeah. I think that you do a very good job of uplifting other women. You have a really unique way of putting things that doesn't feel like, I wouldn't say an attack, but it's just a gentle realization and affirmations that I've benefited from. I was thinking about how you and I, and we'll be sitting in a room and get going with conversations, be like, oh, I just learned this, and we'll ask each other thought-provoking questions, and then we'll come out with some quotes or lessons. And I think it's really fun because I think that we tend to want to learn about ourselves and each other and bring other people's viewpoints to the table. And I was thinking about just things that you and I have chatted about, and one of them was about my son who felt he wasn't good at something. And we really pondered on that. And then you went to an event later and talked to someone about it, which I thought, yeah, of course it's still in her mind. It's Ava. And I think we were trying to remember, how did it go? Only you can define how good you are at something.
Okay, yes. First of all, it was about basketball, the only sport that matters.
Right.
Which will be a tremendously unpopular response in this state. But it was about basketball. And I remember, because I knew your son prior to that, when you were sharing that with me, that it's something about like, he doesn't think he's good at it, or I think I had almost a visceral response to it. Because, like, says who? According to who? And if you like something, then you work at it and you try harder. Or if you enjoy something, but you don't think you're quite as good as others potentially. First of all, the age and just the decision of like, I'm not good at this was just, it's heartbreaking, number one, because I adore him. But I also saw, previous to that, do you remember when we met? When I met Ari?
Yes, superstar.
Yes. So we had made that whole game up at the pool that he was being timed and he was doing like time trial swim laps, and I was counting, and sometimes I would count slower so that he would beat the record, and he was on top of the world. And later wrote me the note that I still have, sent me the card, world champion Ari.
You really made him feel special.
It's confidence.
It's confidence. Yeah. But that's another example. Like, you definitely lifted him up. Like, you have a way of doing that.
He's my favorite.
He loves you too.
That's why his picture's on my office.
I know. I know. So you've also taught me something, and I'm a self-proclaimed perfectionist, imperfect perfectionist, and we've talked about why I'm like this, and I'm like, guys, I try to do everything well, and I think of everything, and then when I mess it up, it's like, where did I go wrong? But you've taught me to kind of, nobody's perfect.
Right.
Nobody's perfect.
Right.
And there's another thing that you tend to say that I've heard you say a couple of times. Everything is temporary.
Yes.
This is temporary. And so I wonder, when did you learn that? Or when did you start using that?
Yeah. Everything is temporary. So my grandma was like mega famous for quotes. She had all of these quotes. I made a book for her on her 88th birthday, and it was full of a lot of the things she used to say. She didn't say everything is temporary. This is my grandma's signature, by the way. She didn't say everything is temporary, but she would say this too shall pass. And she would say that from the perspective of when challenging times occur, things in your life that are hard, she would say, there but for the grace of God go I, and she would say, this too shall pass. And so this too shall pass, to me, tied to bad things happening. It's not forever. And everything is temporary, to me, sort of represents a little different take on that, which is everything is temporary, and that's true for the good, and that's true for the bad. So when bad things happen, it's temporary, and life is a cycle, and things will be good again. But when things are good, and this is a challenge for me, on top of the perfectionism that we share, is to be more present in those moments when things are really good, to really be present in them because they're temporary too.
That's important.
Mm-hmm.
Slowing down and being right there for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
We can probably both help each other be more present.
This is true.
So I've heard a lot about your grandma, and I want to know about what she has taught you that perhaps you will be teaching your granddaughters as well. Important lessons.
Okay. Great question. I think people know, if you know me at all, you know that my grandma was a powerful influence in my life. What she represented to me was safety, security. She was my lighthouse. She was everything to me. And she was my biggest fan. I could do no wrong in my grandma's eyes. She wrote a letter to the newspaper when I was in maybe 6th grade and complained about my lack of playing time on the softball team. I kid you not. She was so proud of me, no matter what. And I hope that when it comes to my granddaughters, that I instill that confidence in them, that I'm their biggest fan, but also that I'm empowering them and inspiring them beyond even what my grandma did for me. My grandma challenged me, but I want to do that even more for my granddaughters. And I will say that I had my daughter when I was a week past my 17th birthday. I was sophomore year going into junior year in high school. Despite all of my, being a kid, raising a kid, despite my shortcomings, she's an extraordinary mom. So I have to sort of just take a back seat because I watch her and I just think, where did you learn this stuff? Incredible. But she is raising 2 amazing little humans that are beyond extraordinary. And I've learned from watching you with your children and the conversations that you have and the support that you provide them. It's inspirational to me too. So I hope I empower them. I hope I teach them to leave not just Lincoln, but the community a better place, be good to others, to make others feel welcome.
I think you do a good job at demonstrating that for kids.
Oh, thank you.
You really do. So I think about times in my life, and I do think that more often than not, they're happening after 25. For me, or maybe I just remember that better. But where the world seems to be turning, where I'm really learning something about myself through the experiences that I'm having at that time, the influences around me. I recognize those times and I feel fortunate to have them. And I'm wondering, in your career, as in your adult life, if you've had a time like that where you've had more realizations about yourself or just life in general, and what have those been?
Sure. Like you said, I think everybody goes through moments in their life where they're more reflective or more open. I will say that 2019, 2020 was that point for me. It was a time for me. I'm a caretaker. That's sort of my role in my family. I was alone for the first time. Kids are grown. My granddaughter had just been born. My first granddaughter had just been born. My dog, we talked about dogs, my dog, who I'd had for 14 years, 2 months, and 23 days, had passed. And it was a time of a deep reflection. I ended up taking Prita Bonzel recommended me for a leadership course, a social change leadership course. And I took that course and I was really diving into therapy, doing some work on myself. I'm an adult child of an alcoholic, a recovering alcoholic addict, and did the work on that. And that was just a huge time for me. I discovered that I didn't fully trust myself. I didn't really know who I was without others. I'd had my daughter when I was just turned 17. I'd always taken care of my older brother, even though I'm his little sister, or my mom, or my own kids, or others. And so just being responsible for me and only me, and being able to work on myself was a huge, huge time in my life. And in the quiet of COVID, not being able to travel, not being able to go and do things and be distracted. We were all working, but it was a different sort of work. Nobody was at the office. The busyness of my life went away. And in the busyness, I had reasons not to focus on the things I needed to really examine in my life and in myself. And so 2019, 2020.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. That is really amazing that you had to find like yourself in the quiet of everything, like when everything else is taken away.
And you find out what matters, right?
Yeah.
Work has been, on top of being somewhat perfectionistic and an absolute workaholic, it's always been a huge coping skill for me over productivity. And slowing down and really focusing I needed it.
I think things are brought to us when we need them the most.
You bet.
Yeah. I know how I feel in the house alone for like an hour. I'll probably end up just calling everyone. I don't even know what to do. So I understand, when you spend that much time taking care of other people.
Mm-hmm. And now I love it.
Yeah.
Now I love being alone.
Yeah, I understand that too. I think that during that time, I had some realizations as well. I don't want to say like, I once said my kids broke me in 2020, but it was in a good way. It was like I learned a bit more about myself in terms of my patience.
Yeah.
I started giving myself time out, realized that it's okay.
Yes.
To give yourself that and teach your kids that you need it too. Yeah, but that was pretty powerful in my life as a mother. 2020, definitely.
I think 2020 was it for a lot of people.
I agree. I wonder what things will be like 10 years from now, we'll look back on. Because I even looked at something yesterday. I got an email from an article from 2020 that Dave sent yesterday. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
And I read it and I thought, wow, when we were looking back, even 6 months hindsight, what we were thinking. So, yeah, that's fascinating. Ava, your family has a lot of really powerful women in it. I've noticed this. You have aunties, your granddaughters, your daughter, and your mother. So I wanted to hear what you admire in your mother, what you've admired throughout the years.
We have powerful men and women. Mm-hmm. So, but my mom has 6 sisters and had 2 brothers. And so, yes, we have more women than men in our family. And I'm glad you mentioned my aunts, but both my aunts and uncles were always there for me growing up. Huge influences in my life, huge. My mom is a remarkable human being. She is the definition of never giving up. She came to Inspire, I think I got past the first couple of years before I would let any of my family members come. I think it was 2017. My mom, my husband at the time, and my daughter came. And I was talking to my mom before the event, and she's a deeply private person. She does not like attention. That is just completely against her nature. This environment would not be about it. But I said, would it be okay with you if I said a few things about you being present and just a few things about you and how you inspire me? And she said, like what? How deep are you going? And so I gave her just my mom overcame addiction and alcoholism and domestic violence and mental health challenges and just everything you can possibly imagine, and rebuilt her life and is the best mom, but even if it's possible, a better grandmother than I ever dreamed for my own kids, and now a great grandma. So she definitely is inspiring, and she's proof that you can start whenever. And I remember that day, my family was there, and I was pretty nervous because they were there, and in between a break, I went back to use the restroom, and a lady followed me. And she walked into the bathroom. This is when it was at the Cornhusker that year, and she said, "What you said to me is so impactful, because I just got my 30-day chip." If you know anything about Alcoholics Anonymous, you get a chip at your 30 days, and you're celebrating your sobriety. And she had lost her kids. She had lost custody of her kids. And she said, "It's a testament to me that I can come back from this, that I can get my kids back, and that my kids can be something too." And I told my mom, if that's all the good that comes of me sharing that day, is somebody else believes that it's possible, is good enough for me.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
I really feel that telling, like when we were talking earlier about telling stories and being honest and being vulnerable, because the right person, one person listening at the right time is going something like that. I mean, truly, even that's what AA, you do hear the stories, and that just is what keeps people going and knowing that this too shall pass.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, your mom has grit.
She has grit.
You have grit. Ava Thomas has grit.
We have grit in our DNA.
I think so.
We do. My family has a lot of grit.
Yeah. Okay, do you want to do some rapid fire questions? You got to warm up. There's stretches.
Or do calisthenics?
Yes.
Right.
Okay, so these are questions that I don't feel will define you, but I'm just curious. Are you ready?
I don't know.
How many smiley faces are appropriate in an email?
Smiley faces in an email.
Mm-hmm.
No more than one.
No more than one. How about a text?
No more than one.
Okay, very good.
We really need to be careful with exclamation points as well. We're kind of in sales, so we can get away with a few more than most.
I have to go through, I said before, every single email and take out at least 7 exclamation points.
Yes, that's
but
you.
Maybe that's how I talk normally.
It is.
Yeah. So I don't feel bad about it. I just am really excited to represent.
Katie, exclamation point, Kinsella, exclamation point, Boles.
I'm so excited to write this email. Okay, so say you get an email and
get a lot of them.
Okay, so the signature, it's in Comic Sans. Is Comic Sans font okay, acceptable?
Not past 1989.
No? Okay.
No.
No. How about any different font? It's like they take the drop down and they're like, oh, this looks good. This is fun. This is flair.
Comic Sans, no.
Okay.
That's it.
Okay.
I don't even think I can list another one, but that one I am very adverse to.
Okay. How about an overused word of yours and why it is your favorite?
Oh gosh, I vacillate between my overused words. I should ask my kids. I should ask you.
I know.
You know.
Let me think.
Outstanding. I use outstanding in emails to my team, but that's because they're outstanding and everything they do is outstanding.
I should do a search of the word outstanding in your
it will
email
be
folder.
Ava Thomas,
This
Ava
is
Thomas,
true.
Ava Thomas.
Outstanding. Yeah, that is
Outstanding is one I use a lot.
I use perhaps, and I feel that it's gentle. I use it in my emails, not to, I don't use them to you.
Not to me.
My
I
boss
think because
here with you?
it's dismissive. It's not dismissive, but
Yeah.
I wonder, you're very much more deliberate.
Yeah, I think.
It's not as deliberate.
Huh.
And you're always deliberate.
Well, yeah.
Bias for action.
That is my favorite.
That's your phrase. That's your phrase.
Yeah,
bias for action, which I love.
Right.
Don't ask, just go do it.
Just do it.
Beg me forgiveness later.
Yes, and sometimes I do have to. How about something that we need to retire? Overused phrases we need to retire immediately.
Literally. Literally is big right now. I hear that one a lot. Literally, and the other one I'm hearing that's a phrase, that's a word, I feel like. and then ... whatever the thing that is that you want to say. I feel like ... I feel like. That's one. And on the influencers, I'm obsessed.
Yeah.
Retire
obsessed.
that phrase. Yeah, we're retiring officially today.
Okay, it's done. Well, we're not going to say it. Okay, that was my 4 that I am asking every single person who ever sits in that seat. But I'm going to ask you another one because I know you love concerts. What's your favorite concert?
Oh, geez. Katie, this is...
Maybe I already know, and I just want the rest of the world to know.
The concert I've been to the most number of times is Lil Wayne, and I've been to see Lil Wayne 3 times. The concert that is my favorite concert is Drake and Miguel in Kansas City.
It's the best ever.
One that shocked me, that is my number 1 at Pinnacle Bank Arena, is Eagles. Hands down. Loved it.
Really?
Of all the shows that I've been to at PBA, fantastic.
Ah.
I've been to a lot of concerts. I'm a music lover, you know this.
Yeah. Well, Ava.
No, I got one for you.
Oh, okay. Oh, here we go.
Rapid fire. 1.
Oh.
I didn't come up with a lot of them, but I'm thinking about this.
Okay.
You get banished to an island for the rest of your life. You only get to listen to one soundtrack.
Oh, a soundtrack?
You get music, but you can make up your own soundtrack. What is it? Like I got 5 songs or...
Oh, man, there's so many great soundtracks. I would almost have to draw. So I like the single soundtrack that's from like the 90s, the grunge era. I like the Forrest Gump soundtrack. Oh, have you listened to it? I think there was 2 discs.
I missed it.
Ava.
I missed that one.
And the Casino soundtrack was good. I can't make this kind of decision. I think I'm gonna say
only listen to one thing for the
Forrest
rest
Gump
of your
because it was 2 discs.
Wow, good. Okay, well now I've got to take a listen.
Yeah.
What one song would I know off that?
There's a lot of Credence, CCR.
Oh, CCR.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, it's sort of classic rock.
It's total classic rock.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good answer.
Thank you.
Oh, it's so good.
Yeah. Ava, thank you for being here today.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, I'm glad we had this time to chat
Ditto.
and learn more about you.
Good to be with you.
Yep, you too. Thanks, Ava. Today's Inspire podcast is sponsored by 3 incredible women and board-certified dermatologists, Dr. Margaret Contra Sutton, Dr. Lee Sutton, and Dr. Liz Sutton of Sutton Dermatology and Aesthetics. Sutton Dermatology and Aesthetics physicians and providers are expert leaders in the fields of dermatology, skin cancer surgery, and medical aesthetics. Call 402-484-9009 or visit suttonderm.com to schedule an appointment with Sutton Dermatology and Aesthetics today.